WATD presents John Paul, the Car Doctor. All things automotive. Have questions? Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's John Paul, the Car Doctor.
And good Sunday morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD on this Father's Day Sunday. In fact, there's a lot going on. If you like cars, the Father's Day Car Show in Hyannis is taking place. I am not there. I thought I was going to be there, but I'm not sure what happened with that. Matt Pitta, radio guy who's well known with the WATD staff, I hope he's okay because nobody's heard from him. Burlington Cars and Cops is going on today, so if you're up in the Burlington area, Bernie Scipoletti, who has retired from the Burlington PD, he runs the Cars and Cops event up there. The Newport Car Museum, free admission to dads with an adult ticket. Go to that museum. It is fantastic. And something I have to go to someday, the Bay State Motor Festival, which is taking place right now at Cushing Memorial Park in Framingham. Last year, there was about 200 cars rolled in to the field. A couple thousand people showed up. What was really interesting about that show is the majority of all the vehicles there were made in New England. So a lot of stuff going on. We sort of have guests. We have a new program that started before us, hosted by Megan and Bo. Megan and Bo, are you guys there?
Yes,
We're here,
we are.
yes.
First off, tell us the name of the show in case people didn't hear it, and we encourage them to tune in earlier, but in case people didn't hear it.
So the name of the show is Legally We Can Say That, and it's a concept that we came up with that we want to inform listeners on our expertise in the law, but kind of do it in tidbits so that it's not overwhelming and keep it fun so that hopefully you can retain it and enjoy listening to it and can take it in.
Tell us about you guys first. Megan, a little bit about you. Not so much legally, but what do you do? What do you like? How long have you been doing it?
So I've been a paralegal for 13 years. I've worked with Bo specifically at our prior firm, and then I came along with him when him and the two partners opened BCL Law. I have two toddler boys, a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, so I'm a super busy working mom. And so outside of that, I'm sure you can imagine is essentially what my life is at this point in time, but I enjoy both aspects of my life so much, so it's very fulfilling, and I'm very happy with it, both.
And so you decided I'm not quite busy enough. I'm going to take a half hour out of my Sunday and do this.
It's like the working mom syndrome, I think. I'm an eldest daughter. What can I say? This is what we do.
And what do? You always give work to the people that are busy, right? So you're busy. So let's give you more stuff to do.
Well, I'll also say this. Megan is a talker. And we were hoping that, 10:30 on a Sunday would be absolutely perfect to hopefully let her talk for 30 minutes and tire her out a little bit. So then we're in the office with her Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the rest of the week. Maybe she's not just quite as talkative because it's a big open space and everybody can hear. 1, her laugh, which you will get to know, and 2, she just talks. So we thought she needed a little bit of an outlet.
Well, we'll have to wait till next week and see if that actually worked. My guess is it's not going to.
No.
But,
Here I am in my full Megan moment for forever. It's not going anywhere.
There you go. And Bo, tell us about you.
So, again, I have been a lawyer now since about 2003. And like Megan said, we previously worked together. I've done various types of law along the way, but about 14 years ago, I started specializing in workers' compensation, Social Security, disability, and it really resonated with me. It's an area of the law that I'm very, very passionate and excited about, helping people that are going through very difficult points of time in their lives, very stressful points of time in their lives, and actually being able to help them and make a difference is something that really resonated with me. And why we opened BCL Law was to be able to continue to do that. And the people that work with us us all feel the exact same way. We have a fantastic law practice, and everyone there is very passionate and dedicated to help our clients the best way that we can. And outside of that, I'm going to be honest with you, Dr. Carr, there isn't a whole lot that goes on. We started this practice 2 years ago, and it is a very, very time-consuming practice, getting it up and running, continuing to improve it and fine-tune it. So it's a very time-consuming thing. But when I'm not doing that, I love to spend time with my girlfriend, my family, and just try and decompress in different ways, which usually involves coming home, plopping down on the couch during the week and watching Netflix.
Well, there you go. Do you have one fun? I mean, workers' comp is obviously a serious issue, but do you have kind of like one fun story you can share?
Ooh, that's a good one.
One? Oh my gosh. Let's see. What one do we want to share?
Well, there's maybe somebody who didn't know they were entitled to something, or they were shocked that. Oh my God!
I got a fun one.
All right.
So they call me in the office. Maybe I gave myself the name, the average weekly wage queen is what I like to call myself. Essentially, under the statute, you are entitled to your average weekly wage is calculated by the 52 weeks prior to your injury. So there's a lot of times that people are not calculating those correctly, and they're being underpaid while they're out on workers' comp. So you're only getting 60% of your wages to begin with, so that's a big deal, obviously. Mm-hmm. So we get this case, and it's a case that a prior attorney at a different firm didn't think the woman even had a case. Me and Bo felt differently, and she had some prior work injuries that I felt she was paid incorrectly on, and not only did we get her a great settlement, she got a bunch of extra money just as a kind of a lump sum for her prior injuries that she was like, oh my God, I was getting underpaid for like 2 years that whole time. She went back to work, got re-injured. I'm like, something just didn't add up to me. No one believed me. I dug in there in my Megan way that I do, and we got this woman what she was entitled to, and I was very proud of that, and she was very happy. But it was just like an aha thing and it's one of those stories that you really don't know what you're entitled to a lot of times unless you have a lawyer.
Yeah, I would say that it's not so much like funny anecdotes because, like you said, it's a pretty serious time for them, but super rewarding when the insurance company has told them they have no case, when the insurance company is underpaying them, when their employer is telling them things that aren't accurate, and they come to us and they say, I don't have a case. I've been told already. The insurance company says this. The employer says that. And being able to tell them what we can do for them. And there's some that are very, very skeptical. They just don't see how we can do what we're telling them we can. And when we actually make that happen and we get them the benefits, when we get them the treatment, and then if it ends up in a settlement, just to see how appreciative, but how it changes them and how it eases some of their financial burden, it's just a very rewarding. So I'd say not a ton of anecdotes other than our office manager having her foot run over. We all thought that was funny, but more just the rewarding feeling of looking after our clients and doing what's right by them.
Perfect. And I guess insurance companies' jobs are to pay as little as possible or to say no to everything. And your job is to protect your clients, which sounds exactly what you're doing. So so you always have, I guess, a struggle that most people don't understand, because most people think of insurance as, I pay for it, I'm going to get what I get, whatever. But at the end of the day, insurance companies, they want to pay as little as they can, right?
You're absolutely right. And it's not the employees that have retained that insurance that are paying those premiums. It's the employer who has that insurance policy for workers' comp. And employers can be affected by premiums, if the insurance company has to pay out on some of these claims. But more importantly, it's not as much about the employer. It's really, like you said, it's the insurance company. You honestly stole part of what I explained to my clients, which is insurance companies are a for-profit business, and they are in the business of paying out as absolutely little on the weekly checks and the medical treatment as they can. It's not personal. They don't hate the injured worker. They don't have any feelings towards our client. What it really is they're just a file number, and it is their job to pay as little as possible, and it is our job to get them to do what they need to do and what they should be doing.
Yeah, I know you. As lawyers, and you do have your specialty. On my program, I give out all kinds of advice or nonsense, one or the other. And so am I liable for any of the nonsense that I say?
Well, I'm going to say absolutely not, but I'd also say that I'm not sure legally I can say that.
Yeah.
I would consult with an attorney that does that, as we did ourselves for this show. But I think you're going to be just fine.
Okay.
I think you've been doing this a long time.
I've only been doing this for 40 years.
I was going to say, we were very excited to be before you. It was a great lead-in.
Right.
It was like when Friends got put on right before Seinfeld. This was a great lead-in for us, so we're very thankful that we got to be right before you.
Well, I want to thank you guys for hanging out for a little bit and doing a little crossover with us. It sounds like it's going to be a great show, and I think there's going to be some good stories. And I like the idea that you kind of mix in a little bit of your personal life, what you got going on. Apparently, there's a soccer thing going on right now.
There's soccer on, in case anyone didn't know. My mom didn't.
And men in kilts. I don't know. There's something, but mixing that in with a good foundation of legal advice and how you can help people is fantastic. So thank you for that, and we'll talk again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right, take care.
Bye. Jesse, why don't we take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about a bunch of different things, including the car that got me around this week, as well as maybe some lessons that dads taught their kids about cars. We'll talk about that. Why don't we take that quick break? My name is John Paul. This is the Car Doctor program. You're listening to 95.9 WATD. We'll be right back.
Even car geeks and do-it-yourselfers rely on AAA to give them extra peace of mind on the road. AAA offers 24/7 roadside assistance, whether you're in your own vehicle, a friend's car, or even a rental. Combine that with great rates on insurance, hotel, gas, and buying savings, and discounts on 8,700 brands, and you're covered on and off the road. Get a special membership offer today at aaa.com/join. That's aaa.com/join.
Hi, it's Zoe, one of Macy's gift guides, here to help you find the perfect Father's Day gift for the guy you're shopping for. Is he a trendsetter? I'd go color-blocked polo and shorts. Classic combo, easy to wear. Is he always on the move? Stylish commuters love a designer watch. Plus, I have cologne gift sets wrapped and ready to give. Come shop our Father's Day sale and take 20 to 60% off today at Macy's. Savings off select prices. Exclusions apply.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off Super Paint, Super Deck, and Woodscapes products June 12th through the 22nd. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Hey there, folks. It's Quinn Kelly reminding you to tune in Sunday night at 5 for the South Shore's first voice in sports talk radio, The Sports Exchange. Unmatched coverage of local high school action, as well as a relatable voice on all things Boston Pro Sports. We've got you covered live at 5 every Sunday night. Have a question for our host, missed last week's show, or just want to share a great sports story? You can find us on Twitter at SE on WATD. But remember, mark your calendar, folks, and we'll see you Sunday night at 5 for the Sports Exchange on 95.9 WATD.
Make an appointment Sunday morning at 11 for John Paul, the Car Doctor, on 95.9 WATD. Now, back to the Car Doctor.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD. Jesse sounds like he's running out of breath up there. You got all kinds of stuff going on up there.
It's been a busy day.
Yeah.
New shows rolling in, trying to help out the Bethany Builders podcast, launch their stuff on video. Yeah, it's a mess. But, here I am, dedicated to the Car Doctor. You got my full attention.
There we go. Perfect. Well, let's talk about the car that got me around this week, and it is the Toyota RAV4. It is the RAV4 is a compact SUV. It's probably one of America's best-selling SUVs for years. And for 2026, Toyota's taken the plug-in hybrid model, which I had not driven in the past. But now the plug-in hybrid has this new edition called the Woodland Edition, and it's designed for drivers who want the good fuel economy, but they also want to some all-weather capability. We'll talk about how off-road it is, but it certainly has off-road personality. And it does sort of stand out, if you're looking at, Honda has some of their vehicles now that sort of look off-roadish. This has a look. It really does. At first glance, it looks more rugged than a standard RAV4. Unique exterior trim, all-terrain tires, pretty aggressive looking too. Raised roof rails. It looks like it's designed to stick a kayak or two on the roof of it. Distinctive badging. Toyota will tell you it's adventure ready. Is it? I don't know. It doesn't pretend to be a hardcore rock crawler. It's not trying to be it's not trying to be a Jeep, but it certainly looks prepared for, if you're doing weekend camping, you're driving down a muddy road, maybe hard-packed sand on a beach or something. I think this will do just fine. Under the hood is Toyota's plug-in hybrid powertrain. It combines a gasoline engine with an electric motor and a large battery pack. It's a plug-in hybrid. So what does that mean? You plug it in, and you can travel about 50 miles on electricity alone before the gasoline engine is needed. So this week that I've had this vehicle, I don't think the gasoline engine ever started, with the exception of the time I made it start. But I haven't used a drop of gasoline. I've been plugging it in every night, just like I do with my phone and my laptop and my tablet. So I've been plugging it in just about every night. I haven't gone a lot of places with it, but certainly I've gone 25 or 30 miles at a time and come back home and charge it up. Haven't used any. I'm charging it with I didn't take the charging cable out of the package it came with. I'm using my own charging cable. It's called a Juice Plus charger. It's one of these ones that you can plug into just about any outlet under the sun, and it's not made for the Tesla style charger, although there's probably an adapter for this charger, I would guess. But it is what is unique about this charger is it has a plug, and normally I plug into a regular 110 volt outlet, but the plug on the corner of the house that I plug into is a 20 amp 110 volt outlet. So this charger knows that, and it can put just a little bit faster charge into the battery than a conventional 15 amp outlet. So, and it uses if you've ever looked at a plug and said, "What's that?" It looks like a little ear off to the side. That's what it is. It's designed for a little bit higher load. So it does charge up a little bit faster. It's still slow. You'll be fine if you were just charging this up every night and you were going 50 miles. Chances are it would be fully recharged the next day. But ideally, level 2 charging, 240 volts it would charge up in a couple hours. But what's nice is it's got a gasoline engine, so you don't really need to worry. Total driving range between the gas and the electric part, around 600 miles. So you can go a long ways without stopping. Performance, unlike many hybrids that prioritize efficiency over performance, this plug-in hybrid delivers quick acceleration. It has good passing power. Standard all-wheel drive provides excellent traction. This should work well here in New England, snowy weather, especially with the tires that are on it. The instant torque provided by the electric motor gives it a real responsive feel, including merging onto the highway or passing, whatever. But also, if you are going off-road, that electric power can kind of come in handy. because it torques right there when you need it. So you can just kind of breathe on the accelerator and get where you're going. Kind of nice. Inside, the Woodland Edition offers the same strength that made RAV4 so popular. The cabin's comfortable, it's spacious, it's thoughtfully designed. The rear seat passengers have plenty of room. Cargo space is pretty good, even in the presence of the large battery pack. Toyota's latest infotainment system is pretty good. I have a problem with everything touch and not enough knobs. This one's pretty good, and it has smartphone integration and wireless charging and all that sort of stuff. One feature that really deserves mentioning in my book is this plug-in hybrid has a spare tire. I think it's one of the only vehicles, one of the only plug-in hybrids that I know of that has a spare tire. Every time I drive a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid or something a little bit sporty, the first thing I usually do is look and see if it has a spare tire. In fact, I was talking last week about I'm starting a car shop, and somebody said to me, "Are you looking for a hybrid?" And I'm like, "No, I'm looking for something with a spare." I like having a spare tire. I like it where it doesn't take up any room. They managed to stick a compact spare under the floor. They did it nice. It was nice to see it. So if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I posted a picture of the car with a couple shots of the inside and the outside. And I said, with a surprise, and a couple people responded, "What's the surprise?" And I said, "The surprise is it's got a spare tire." So that was kind of nice to see. So the RAV4 Woodland Edition kind of bucks that trend by including a spare tire. I think that's really good. Ride quality is pretty good. Road noise, even with the more aggressive tires, is quiet. Like all Toyota vehicles, advanced safety features come standard: adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assistant, automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, help make long trips, should make it a little less stressful, I would think. But not always. I'm somebody who looks around a lot while I drive. I know as a traffic safety person, I should keep my eyes forward all the time. But whenever I take my eyes off the road directly in front of me, my foot hovers over the brake pedal in case I need to stop quickly. But this system kept telling me, keep your eyes on the road. Your eyes are diverted to one. And it even knows when you're wearing sunglasses, because it is less effective with sunglasses on. But still, it still says, you're not looking where you're supposed to be looking. To the point where when you drive it, if you look to one side like that and you stay there a little bit, it bings like you left your seatbelt off. It's not just ding, I gotta look up. It is like ding, ding, ding. So a little bit annoying on that part. A little bit too nanny-ish, I guess. But that aside, the Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid Woodland Edition, I think, did a really good job of combining efficiency, performance, practicality. Yeah, I'll go with the adventure to inspire styling. That's what they call it. Roughly 50 miles of electric-only range, 600 miles of total range. It offers benefits of electric driving without range anxiety. Standard all-wheel drive. It actually has a pretty high current plug. You can plug electrical accessories into the back, so it'll do that. It has a rare advantage of a real spare tire, so that's kind of nice. I think it's, if you're going to commute back and forth to work, or you just want it for a weekend getaway, or you just want something that looks a little bit different, you should take a look at the RAV4 plug-in hybrid electric vehicle Woodland Edition. It deserves a place at the top of your shopping list. And, there's a bunch of good compact SUVs out there. No question. Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, Hyundai Tucson, Kia, Sportage, Mazda Mazda CX-5, CX-50, which is their version, kind of this little more off-road looking kind of thing. They're all good, but I think Toyota did a really good job on this one. And certainly, if you are looking for a vehicle like this, if you want to dip your toe into electric vehicle world, but you're not quite sure you want to do that, plug-in hybrid's a good way to go. And like I said, 110 volts, same plug I plug in, my electric lawnmower to. Well, I don't have an electric lawnmower. What I did plug in my electric lawnmower to. Now I have a battery lawnmower, so I have a battery electric lawnmower. Anyway, but you get the idea. So you can plug it in, charge it up, good to go. 50 miles. The average commute for most people is about 30 miles a day. So you could, if you're like the average, you could probably not buy gas very often. Once a month or something, maybe. Who knows? But you do need to plug it in every night to get that full range. So there you go. So there's our review of that. So a little bit later, we're going to talk electric bicycles. About a year or 2 years ago now, I got an electric bicycle. And it was from a company called Fido, Fiido, and they have some new models coming out. We'll talk about them a little bit later. I can't really fully talk about them because they're sort of an embargo until Wednesday, I think. But I was pretty impressed in the bikes that I saw from them, especially in some of the quality. I look at things a little different. I look at how well they're welded together, what components they use. They use things like hydraulic disc brakes on some of their models rather than cable-operated disc brakes. So, things like that. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the program. Right now, some of the lessons, it's Father's Day. Some of the lessons, Dad taught me about cars. My little bit of maybe too personal sharing here, but my dad passed away when I was a teenager, so we didn't have a lot of time to tinker with cars together. He was not. He was of the era where you fixed everything yourself. And he was a truck driver that became a heating engineer who became a kind of a salesman. Worked for a company in Brockton called Cochran Supply, and he would go out to job sites and figure out how much copper tubing they needed, and how much heat they needed, and how much air conditioning they needed, and all that kind of stuff. Air conditioning, not as much because houses didn't have central air back then, but he did all those kind of things. But, he was of the generation, I guess so am I, to some extent, that you fixed your own stuff. So, yeah, first oil change. But even simple things like, checking the oil in the car, how to check air in the tires, how to look for tires, when they're worn. My first car was an old Rambler, and a brake line went. And like I said, my father worked for a plumbing company, so he looked at the brake line. It was all rusted out. He went to work, got a coil of copper tubing and a flare set. And some compression unions. Well, those are not how you want to fix your brake lines. Copper is not good for brake systems. They actually, when you look at brake fluid, you look at moisture and copper content, because the copper that's typically on the inside of a metal line can start to deteriorate, and copper doesn't agree with modern brake systems. But anyway, we rolled out some 3/16 copper tubing, either used a compression union or a single flare. Brake lines are all supposed to be double flare, so they're extra strong. Car stopped fine. Bled the brakes. Car stopped fine. Did everything it was supposed to do. But looking back at those days, going, that definitely wasn't the thing to do. But Dad was there to help, and that's what you do. Some of the other advice that really doesn't really apply today. I kind of thought about this a little bit, and warm up your car for 10 minutes. Premium gas makes it run better. You have to wait before driving. No, those things aren't really, do you have to warm up your car for 10 minutes? No. Even in cold weather? No. Back when cars had carburetors and chokes, yeah, you'd warm them up mostly because they probably stalled because the choke was never set right. The air cleaners had a little heater hose that went up to them. As cars got older, a lot of times those got thrown away, or the little manifold that sat on the exhaust manifold rusted away and it fell off, or the little temperature-controlled door in the air cleaner didn't work anymore, and it was open all the time, or on the exhaust, some of the exhausts were blocked off on one side to try to generate more heat with the heat riser. But usually you warmed up your car for 10 minutes on a cold day because it was going to stall. You don't have to. In fact, when you start up the car, the best thing you can always do, whether it's a warm day like today or a cold winter day like we had all winter, start it up, wait until all the lights shut off, everything seems to be stable, so, less than a minute usually, and just drive it nice and easy. Let everything warm up together. Let the engine warm up, let the transmission warm up, differential gears warm up. Let all that fluid that is thick and gooey, let it slowly come up to temperature. Brakes will come up to, everything comes up to temperature a little bit at a time. So everything starts to sort of get better the more you use it, but take it easy. That's all there is. Premium gas, does it make your car run better? Nope. Unless your car calls for premium, don't put it in. I always recommend top tier gas if you can find it. Go to toptiergas.com, look for top tier stations. All it really is gas with more additives in it. Someone wrote to me over the weekend and said that they listen online, or they listen to the podcast while they're at the gym. So thank you for that, by the way. And they go to BJ's, which is right next to the gym, and they buy their gas there because they can save, 20 or 30 cents a gallon. So, yeah, why wouldn't you? And then apparently they put it on a credit card where they save another 3%. So they save quite a bit of money on gas. Probably not top-tier gas, but what they also do is they go to BJ's and they buy a 4-pack of Gumout fuel system cleaner. So they're sort of making up for the lack of extra fuel cleaner in the BJ's gas. And they wanted to know, does that all make sense? Yeah, because you're buying the fuel system cleaner at $2.50 a bottle, I think, which is really inexpensive. Gumout, I don't think is as good as Techron. I'm a fan of Techron. I'm a fan of a lot of things that are not sponsors. I suppose I should always say that. The only sponsor I have is AAA because they're also my employer. But Techron is one of those things. Meguiar's products, some of their products I really like. Their waterless car wash, really like it. Mother's products, I really like the Mother's new car wash product. I think it's really good. Are they a sponsor? No. But there's things that I've tried, things that I like. Same thing with some of the Harbor Freight products. Had really good luck with them. Some not as good a luck, but you kind of expect it sometimes. But anyway, so putting the Gumout in, he said to me that he puts a bottle in every fill up. And he figures between what he's saving on filling up his tank, the $2.50 is, it's still cheaper than buying top-tier fuel wherever he goes. I don't think you need to do it every day, first off. Every fill-up. Do it occasionally. Do it, 4 times a year. And I think you'll be fine. It'll all be good. So that's about it, I think, for worst. And I don't want to say worst car advice that Dad's ever passed down, but some that's not as good as it could be. Jesse, explain this to me. Jimmy and Laura?
Both of them.
Both of them? Uh-oh. This could be a fight taking place or something, an argument. I hope so. I hope I can settle an argument. Jimmy and Laura, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Happy Father's Day, John Paul.
Well, happy Father's Day to you guys, too.
Okay, thank you. And so Laura is my daughter. And
Okay.
I'll just run through quickly. She goes to school out at UMass Amherst, and she's in her senior year, so she needs to bring a vehicle so she can go out and do her externship teachings and everything else.
All right.
She's going to be using her cash to purchase a vehicle, and I'm used to purchasing new vehicles without trades. Apples and apples, I love it. It's easy.
Yep.
So I've never really purchased a used vehicle before, but she's watching every dollar that she has. But I don't want her to be penny wise and pound foolish.
Yeah, I'm looking at stuff online right now. I'm trying to balance between frugality and like reliability. What I'm prioritizing is the car actually working and not hemorrhaging money, and also good gas mileage. So I'm curious to see your thoughts on like what cost should I be looking for, what year, and then also some negotiation tactics as we're going into it.
How many miles would you think? And I know each vehicle is different and everything else. It comes down to maintenance. We can check the Carfax. We can check consumer report on the particular vehicle that says, it's fairly reliable. But how many miles would you say would be a nice number on the odometer?
I mean, if you can stay under 75,000,
Perfect.
I think that's a good number. And it depends on the car, though. As an example, I wouldn't rush out to buy a Ford Escape with 75,000 miles on it because the engines in those had a lot of problems. So, So, but if you were going out to buy a Honda CR-V or a Toyota RAV4, or Laura, what do you like for cars? I know you're trying to balance frugality and reliability, but you must have something that sort of appeals to you.
I'm going to be so real. Currently, I drive a 2000 Toyota Corolla, so anything is going to be an upgrade. I'm really just looking for the cheapest thing that's going to get the job done. So.
And also, I am a Toyota fan too, but I'm going to mention I don't want to digress here. But we bought a new RAV4 2 years ago, also a hybrid. But the Toyota Kia at 10,000-mile oil changes is ridiculous. So I'm getting that frightens me that your first oil change is at 10,000. But I'm a big Toyota fan. I'm a big Japanese fan. So you did mention the Honda CR-V, the RAV4. Those are two great there. Four-wheel drive, unfortunately, because of Western Massachusetts out there too. Yeah. Okay. So the 75,000 is huge. Now, what would you say? And she's cheap. She's cheap like her old man. How much should she spend? Do you think you know what? I know that's a big question. It's like it depends on the vehicle and everything else. But let's assume let's ask it a twofold question, John Paul. What year would you think would be a good year for a used car too? And basically, what do you think the budget should be?
Well, it depends on it. Again, it kind of depends on what you're looking for, and it depends on your own personal budget. Obviously, if it's got something with higher mileage, you're going to end up with vehicles that are going to be a little bit lower in price, but the mileage is going to reflect the lower price. So if you're looking at a car that is 5 or 6 years old, you're probably in without looking. And what I would do, I would go to sites like Car Gurus and iSeeCars.com and sort of put in, maybe Toyota RAV4 and just see where they are kind of in a price scheme. And also, once you do that, maybe you see a car that's at a dealer up on Route 1 in Norwood, and you see another car that's at a dealer, someplace else, and you can kind of shop them together. And, if you are going to go out, that gives you a little bit of negotiating play with that. Those are still popular vehicles. So you're not going to have a lot of room in there, but there's going to be some room to negotiate, certainly. It's interesting. I'm also car shopping sort of at this point. The car that I normally drive every day, I left it at our little tin shack in Florida, and I took my wife's car back with me up here, so I'm looking for another vehicle. And I was looking at new vehicles, but I was also looking at, let's look at former Enterprise rent-a-cars.
You talked about
yeah, but I saw one just popped up at 2026. It had 3,000 miles on it. It was a pretty good savings over a new one, but I always get curious because, let's face it, car companies don't take cars out of service at 4,000 miles because they've been performing extremely well. They take them out of service because something happened. And when I looked at the Carfax, it actually did show that the Carfax showed the car was in a rear-end collision. Well, they didn't come out and say that. It just said, it did say accident or something, but it didn't really say what it was. And it went around and it showed like a little nick in the paint in this corner and a little stain on a seat here, but it didn't say it got hit from behind and it got taken out of service. So is that a car I want to buy? No, it's not a car I want to buy. I would rather buy a car with 15 or 20,000 miles on it or 30,000 miles on it that had, that didn't have any collision damage, didn't have any paint repairs, things like that. And the other thing is, you always kind of wonder, some of these, and not just Enterprise, but some of these cars, when you look at the Carfax, and Carfax is not 100% accurate, but it gives you an idea. You look at it and go, I don't think the oil's ever been changed in 30,000 miles. You look and you go, oh, wait, there was one at 15,000, there was one at 25,000. It's like, no, I want something a little bit better maintained than that. So I would start by using some of the popular websites like iSeeCars.com and Car Gurus. Kind of narrow down what you want. Laura, you must have a budget in mind, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping 10K, but that can go up.
And I'm thinking higher.
Yeah, I think to buy something nice, you're going to be in the $15,000 range.
Plus, and I think you're on the low side too. That's what I was thinking. Also, alternatives, water pumps, and things like that. Failing is no fun when you're 100 miles from home. For me, it's a problem. Now, and one more question, please, regarding this is that, like I said, I'm used to purchasing new Apples, no trades. I run them forever. It's so easy. On the used cars, basically negotiation strategy, whatever. But I can go to the NADA, I can go to the Kelly Blue Book, and everything else. When I see those numbers for this particular car, okay, here's the mileage it's worth. If I bought it from a deal at $16,500, what should I be looking for from these dealers to try to negotiate a deal? How should I do this, John Paul?
Well, part of it is, and you can find this out when you're looking online, how long they've been sitting on the car. If the car just came in and they're looking for $16,500, they're probably pretty solid at $16,500. They're not going to, typically that used car, if it depends on the dealer, they need to make, between $1,000 to $3,000 on that car. That's what they need to make for profit on a used car. So,
well, that's great information. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, is there room in there? Yeah, there usually is some room in there for what they're willing to bend. And of course, even with used cars, there's going to be documentation fee and all that nonsense that every dealer seems to have now. And that is in theory, that's non-negotiable, because if they sell you a car without doc fees and then sell me a car with doc fees, it's discriminatory sales practices. That's why it's pre-printed in the sales agreement. But can you say, hey, look, you got a $500 doc fee, take it off the price of the car somewhere, because I don't want to pay it because I know it's nonsense. Maybe you can get that to happen. So that gives you a little bit of an edge. Also, with any used car that's got any miles on it, if you have a good independent repair shop or you feel very confident yourself, check it out before you spend a nickel on the car. A lot of times what will happen is, and when I used to run the AAA Diagnostic Center in Rockland, people would bring cars to me that they already purchased, and we'd find a bunch of stuff wrong with them. They'd go back to the dealer, and the dealer would be like, those are typical things that happen with an old. No, but if you do that before and say, look, there's a little bit of an oil leak here, this tire has more wear than those, so, we really need to think about tires. The rear brakes are 3/4 worn. Can you get a set of brakes on this? All the negotiation comes before you write the check, so.
Yes, exactly. And I am going to mention one thing. You did help me buy the RAV hybrid, and that was on New Year's Eve. 2 or 3 years ago when you said to go in there, and I did it with a smile, to go in and ask for 25% off. I had to pick the sales rep off the floor. He was laughing so hard. So, but it worked though. We did buy one, and we got a good deal on it. So very good.
There you go. So I think all of this together is a little bit of advice, but always remember, and this sounds kind of trite, and I don't know if that's even the right word, but whenever you're car shopping, you have to keep in mind it's just a car. There's a billion more of them, and it sounds like, Laura, you have your head on straight with this. Maybe your budget's a little low, but you're looking at it correctly. Always buy with your head, not your heart. Too many people go out and they look at a car and they like, I love that car. It's beautiful. It's just the color I wanted. It's this and that. And then they end up either overpaying for it, or they don't look closely enough at it and find out it's got some issues that should have been taken care of somewhere along the line, or it had no maintenance done to it, something like that. So, always think it through first, and always remember, if that car isn't there when you go to look at it, it just wasn't meant to be, but there's a 1,000 more just like that out there. Sometimes you just have to do a little looking to find them.
I know you got to move on. When did Toyota start putting safety features like backup cameras and side passing in their vehicles? What year did they start doing that?
I want to say somewhere in 2016 maybe.
Oh, perfect. So that should be in our time.
Yeah.
Safety
yeah.
features.
2017, mostly they were all there. So I want to say right in that time frame.
All right. You got to get back to work, John Paul. Again, happy Father's Day, and thank you for the advice. And unfortunately, we didn't argue in front of you.
Well, thank you both very much. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Be safe. Bye-bye.
All right. Why don't we take a quick break? You're listening to the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD. If you want to join us, 781-837-4900. We'll be right back.
Even car geeks and do-it-yourselfers rely on AAA to give them extra peace of mind on the road. AAA offers 24/7 roadside assistance, whether you're in your own vehicle, a friend's car, or even a rental. Combine that with great rates on insurance, hotel, gas, and dining savings, and discounts on 8,700 brands, and you're covered on and off the road. Get a special membership offer today at aaa.com/join. That's aaa.com/join.
Hi, it's Zoe, one of Macy's gift guides, here to help you find the perfect Father's Day gift for the guy you're shopping for. Is he a trendsetter? I'd go color-blocked polo and shorts. Classic combo, easy to wear. Is he always on the move? Stylish commuters love a designer watch. Plus, I have cologne gift sets wrapped and ready to give. Come shop our Father's Day sale and take 20 to 60% off today at Macy's. Savings off select prices. Exclusions apply.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off Super Paint, Super Deck, and Woodscapes products June 12th through the 22nd. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
This is Dan Cloutier.
And this is Kim Jennings.
We're from Birch Bear Records. Tune into Twilight Showcase Radio.
Hosted by Sandy Stride and Keith James.
On 95.9 WATD and 95.9WATD.com.
Search for Twilight Showcase on Facebook and visit twilightshowcase.org.
Twilight Showcase. Tonight from 8 to 10 on 95.9 WATD. Honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. He's John Paul, the Car Doctor, on 95.9 WATD.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program. Like I said, in Florida, at the Tin Shack, I have an electric bike. And I'm not, I ride it around my neighborhood, which is like 3 or 4 miles, I guess, if I go down every single street. I'm especially in Florida, I'm afraid to ride an electric bike in Florida because people in Florida are crazy and the roads are not really the closest road once I leave my little neighborhood is a pretty busy street. and it's actually 4 lanes, and it's places it's 50 miles an hour, and it does have a bike lane. But considering I see people weaving in and out of the bike lane, a little nervous about that. But the bike is great in Florida, riding around my neighborhood, helping people with little projects. I have a bike that's sort of a long tail bike. I put a box on the back of it. I can carry a little tool bag back there. So one day I did road service with it. I went out and jump started someone's car with my jump start box. I aired up somebody's golf cart tires, somebody's lawnmower tires. So it was like a little road service vehicle. It was kind of fun. But this company, Fido, F-I-I-D-O, not like the dog, F-I-D-O. So Fido, they are coming out with 3 new products, and they sort of described them as, I guess, best described as like medium-ish bikes. So not little compact bikes, but bikes that sort of are in between large and small. And on their website, it says meet the new rides, and these are gonna be really officially unveiled shortly. But there's a cross-terrain bike, so kind of fat tires, looks like a traditional bike, kind of an interesting looking frame, a little bit, not quite a, want of a better word, a girl's bike, but not a bar completely across the top. Then there's the Urban Family Cargo Bike, which is a smaller bike, smaller tires, and this is all I'm just going from their website. Removable battery pack, same battery pack that's in my bike, and then there's a long tail cargo version. But they look pretty good, especially the smaller Urban Family Cargo Bike. And they call it a family cargo bike because one of the pictures has way too many kids on the back of it. But anyway, and they also show the long tail bike towing a little trailer. But they have a bunch of what they call mid-drive e-bikes that are coming soon. Check out their website, and maybe next week we'll be able to talk a little bit more about it because the embargo will be over by then. So kind of fun things to look at. We always try to talk about some of the questions that came in during the week and some of the columns I'm preparing for the upcoming week. And I thought this was interesting, and it hit kind of close to home because I can say I'm extremely familiar with this. They said, we recently had our 2019 VW Beetle in for service, and we're told the lower engine cover was hanging and needs to be replaced at a cost of $585. They said this should be done sooner rather than later. What is a lower engine cover, and do you agree with their assessment? Is there a danger in driving as is? And a second question, the driver's seat warmer, which was not working properly, and to fix the issue would require removal of the seat cover to replace the lower heated seat element at a cost of $1,650. Does the seat actually have to be removed? Well, the lower engine cover, sometimes I call it a belly pan. It's usually, some of them are usually made out of plastic or composite, although in Volkswagen, like my wife's 2015 Beetle, it's made out of metal. And if it's badly damaged, yeah, it needs to be replaced. But it's metal, so I'm not sure, bend it, straighten it back out. I don't know why I can understand you need to reattach it, but I don't know why you'd need to actually replace it, unless it was just totally like you drove over a giant tree stump or something. It's usually removed during oil changes, and it's typically, secured with triple square or sometimes Torx fasteners, mostly triple squares. And they can go missing. People don't put them all back in. In fact, I did the last 3 oil changes on this car, but prior to that, it was done by local places. I noticed a couple of fasteners were missing. Standard metric fasteners, so now they're regular bolts instead of triple squares, but it's fine. So I don't know, I think I just get a second opinion on it, see if somebody can put some new bolts in it and put it back together or bang the dents out of it. What's it there for? It protects road debris from hitting under the car, water. It also contributes to airflow and a little bit of noise reduction. So with it missing, the air goes up into the engine rather than under the car, so it probably helps with aerodynamics. The older Volkswagen we have, the '09 Volkswagen we have, which we're going to, give the local Votech school or something. That one, somebody actually cut a hole in the bottom of the pan, in the belly pan, so they could get to the oil drain plug. So they didn't have to take it down all the time. Probably wasn't. I mean, I can understand why they did it. I can almost understand a do-it-yourself. I can't understand a shop doing it, though. But maybe they said, hey, look, if we cut this hole in it, you're never going to know, and it'll save a little bit of labor time. So I don't know. As far as the heating element that failed, yeah, you have to take the seat out. I would look for some kind of open circuit first. I would want to test it and make sure it really needs to be done. But yeah, the repair, typically you have to remove the seat, separate all the upholstery to get to the element. It's pretty labor intensive, which kind of explains the cost. Would I do it because my heated seat didn't work for $1,600? I don't know that I would, but then again, it is a 2019. If it's otherwise in good shape, maybe. This we kind of talked about this earlier. This person says, I really enjoy washing my car, but there is a wide variety of products available. Do you have one you like? Yeah, car wash soap. I always got whatever was on sale. Never use dish detergent. I can't even say it unless you want to strip away wax. Like I said, this Mother's California Gold Ceramic Wash and Wax. It cleans well. It adds a little bit of shine. It also has it's kind of built-in water softener, so it doesn't water spot as much. Is it true ceramic? No, it's not true. But it's got this kind of hydrophobic protection, I guess is the fancy word for it. So it helps bead the water and all that stuff. It's not as good as a regular ceramic, but it still works good. For light cleaning, I used the Mother's waterless car wash this week. I live on a dirt road in down here in the Cape, and a lot of dust and dirt. Plus, they cut down 3 trees across the street, so I wanted to clean off the cars. And I just did it with the Mother's waterless car wash. I still like the Meguiar's product better. They look identical. They're the same color product. They look absolutely identical. I think the Meguiar's one just works better. Again, not sponsors, in fact, every Meguiar's product that I bought in the last 15 years I paid for. So anyway, so there you go. That music means we're just about out of time. And remember, if you want music lessons, go to Jesse's music studio in Whitman, so you can get music lessons. Right, Jesse?
That's right.
Yep. Check out the Facebook page, too, because it's cool. All right, we're all done. See you next week. Until next week, drive safely, be good to your car, and if you do see an emergency vehicle by the side of the road, slow down or move over. Talk to you all next week. Bye-bye.